Hi, I'm Leppert. I'm an artist and I did a video work that was developed in Fraunhofer Labs in the framework of Funken Academy that I'm showing right now at Raw Art Center. It's called Chrysalis and it deals with the amnesias, imaginaries and pitfalls of DNA. Because I was interested in the procedures of how knowledge is produced, what kind of pitfalls are in there, what kind of gaps are in there, how you can adapt your human body to like something that is just nanometers big, that you can neither see nor touch. So there's also parts of our experience in the lab in the video that I'm showing. For example, like keeping the trust that this nanobody or like this sum of nanobodies is still there, even though you have no way of referencing with your own senses that they're still there. You just have to kind of trust the process and trust your own ability to stick to the procedure. After the procedure and after I started to think about what I was going to do artistically, I went into this rabbit hole of research around DNA. What is this actually? And I did like a deep dive into the cultural metaphors that surround it and like the amnesias and the pitfalls. DNA as we know it or as we culturally think about it is something that's dubbed often the code of life. But what is it actually? It's like a molecular structure, but still in the 1950s it was framed as some kind of linguistic figure. So there's like these 4 letters, A, T, C, G, and they spell out everything that's alive, whether it's a leaf or a bug or a human. But of course, they are not words and they are not letters. They are molecules. And so this cultural metaphor completely flattened these complex processes of how life develops, how humans are made in the end, like how is everyone readable? If you think that the core of each cell is readable as text. This text is framed as editable and you can cut it, you can paste it, you can copy it, you can decrypt it, you can understand it, you can read it. So who can read this after framing it as text? And what cannot be read? What's in the gaps? The video meanders out onto other ideas of codability, so that you can somehow describe super complex processes of life, of making meaning, of being human, of having memory, having history. How can you write this down in these kinds of metaphors? And even now, when we think about codability of human-like intelligence in AI right now, which is on everyone's minds, we are back to another similar metaphorical shift that you can actually code something that works like human intelligence in text. And I often visit like spaces where knowledge is produced or presented, like a theater of knowledge maybe. And this lab at the Fraunhofer is usually not that space, but it became one when we came there somehow. So in the end, maybe our presence there just like changed the whole space that is usually cut off from the public. Yeah, I'm really happy to have had this opportunity because the lab often features like in my thought, okay, like what is knowledge, what is science even? Like if we think about science as asymptotic, like getting closer to something called truth, but never really reaching it. And then it having also history, so alchemy becomes chemistry. And then what science does today, how will this feature in like future revelations or like revelations, but findings. So I think these spaces are interesting because epiphany and apophany are really close together. I didn't really know what was coming towards me when we first went into these labs. So I didn't really have a plan, but this developed quickly, I think. And then somehow I got excited and then just went fast. Art, science together, and I think we do actually have a lot to give to each other.